I'm going to ask questions, it doesn't matter what order things are in. But I would like to know, perhaps we could start with when you came to the country. What year was that you came?
My husband came in 1909 in November, and there was nothing but forest. He bought it sight unseen from one of those land sharks in Nelson, who owned a big launch, and he'd look at the prospects and bring them all the way here from Nelson and sell them land. Well, you speak about greenhorns, but I think there were quite a few then. Well, anyway, he was tired of traveling, through from all the way east to west, so he bought anyway. And just located a spring first of all and built a little cabin. Naturally, there was nothing. There was Mr. Hanna, who was an old-timer, who did lumbering with great big horses and those huge wagons, and that's about all there was. He used to hire little Chinamen to do cordwood for $1 a cord, Mr. Hanna, and load it on a big barge down by the lake, and sell it, well, I don't know, in Nelson or wherever. So it meant clearing land before you could even plant any garden or any trees or anything like that, which meant all hand labor with axe and saw and handsaw, and mattock and everything like that.
Why did he come out to Canada in the first place, and what was he looking for?
Well, as I said, he was a clerk at the Cook traveling agency and saw all the beautiful posters, grow apples and get rich, because it was such a beautiful climate in British Columbia. So then he earned his born money by working in Hamburg for a year, and then presently came across and west, all the time.
Aiming at going to British Columbia?
Aiming to, yes.
You said he was a clerk in Cook's
traveling agency.
Where was this?
In London. He was there for a year, I think.
He was in London?
In London, yes.
And so that's where he learned his English, did he?
Yes.
And can you continue his story? Was he married at that time?
No. He was a bachelor. Then he decided to go back home to see his mother and his sisters, who were still in Switzerland. And I guess they decided that he needed a wife more than anything else, and I was it. So.
How did they choose you? Or did he choose?
Well, how did they? Yes, it's the right word, all right.
Tell me, you were friends at that?
Yes, I was helping my sister who had a bakery. They had a bakery, and I knew his mother and his sisters. You see, both were artists, and they used to go paint, around the country. And always coming back, they'd buy bread, from the bakery I was helping my sister with. So I guess they thought, well, boy, she's young and strong and doesn't know much of anything, so she'll do fine to come to this country.
And she knows how to bake.
Well, I had to learn.
But so you were married there?
No, the funny part of the story is that in Switzerland, no girl is allowed to be married at 18, even with the consent of the parents, unless there were reason to legitimize some offspring or something. So we were all ready to have a big wedding. My wedding dress was made. Imagine that, we couldn't get married. We had to come all the way to Montreal. And I don't suppose you know, but anyway, Mr. Bieler was a professor of theology in Montreal. And of course, our minister knew him, you see, so he wrote, and it was there that we were married.
You you were just 18?
6 weeks short of 18.
Oh, I see. You weren't allowed to marry till you got 18.
Yes. Hmm. So then we were married in Canada.
Excuse me, you can't hear that. Married in Montreal.
In Montreal, yes.
Now, could you, as much as you could remember in detail, tell me your impressions of coming out here? What did you think you were coming to? I mean, before you came. What did he tell you about it, and how did you know what you...
Well, I don't think he exaggerated the prospects for that matter, but, you know, when you are young, you take things as they come anyway. Don't mind too much.
It was an adventure, no matter what.
Yes, yes.
Tell me, how did you come into this country? When you got into BC, how would you come?
Train. Well, I went to the States first because one of my sisters lived in Washington, and she said it would be a good idea if she could teach me the ways of the New World, you know. So I stayed there for 2 weeks. Then I had to travel alone, and I knew about 3 words of English from Washington, you know, and then to Nelson. Then there was the boat that started from Nelson to here, you see. So we traveled by boat all the time. We had no roads at all.
You came, your husband had come on ahead then?
No, but he took me to my sister, and then it was May, you see, and he wanted to come and start spring work, you see.
So where did you meet him next after that?
At the wharf here in Argenta.
Tell me about this. What was the day like, and all the details, and what it looked like as you came up the lake, and what you were thinking, as much as you can?
Well, truthfully, I thought I'd never get there when you start at 7 o'clock in the morning on a boat when you can't speak to anybody. And we arrived at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon only. You see, the boat did that all up the lake, you see, calling at every station on both sides of the lake, you see. So
what did it do?
Calling at all the little...
Yes.
Yes, so it took from 7 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon before it reached Argenta. So I thought it was a very long lake anyway. Yes.
Tell me now how you saw. You coming to. What did it look like? And your husband was there and all?
Oh yes, he met me. Yes.
Tell me.
What happened. We had a horse and buggy. You see, naturally we did nothing else. You see. Well, you know, it's a long time, 51 years, to remember what impressions. I've had lots more impressions since then to erase the first ones. Well, it was pretty wild. People think that it looks like Switzerland, but of course not our way. You know, this is much wilder even now than Switzerland ever was. Well, as I say, there was lumbering going on, you know, and we were very busy trying to, you know, to make a farm out of this.
And he was getting jobs lumbering?
Not he, no. No. Well, he had private means, you see. I mean, we were not pushed to go and work outside, for that matter.
So he was able to concentrate
on the farm, yes, mostly.
What had he got here? What was he living in? What did you live in first?
Oh, when I came, the house was built. They had a French-Canadian carpenter to build it, so the house was built.
This house?
Yes.
I see. And he had already built it and planned it?
Yes. Oh, it was altogether different, but anyway.
Did it look like a French-Canadian house?
I don't know, but he didn't build any chimney. Dad had to build 2 chimneys for our stoves anyway. There was just stove pipes, which was anything but very safe for, you know.
And he managed to get it furnished by this time too?
Oh, yes, quite sufficiently, yes. Oh, yes.
And how much had he got cleared by then?
Oh, nothing much on that, nothing much on this side, but quite a bit on that side, because he bought that later on, much later on.
So there's a lot of woods all around.
Absolutely, all trees.
Any view at all?
And any which?
Any view, did you see?
Not much, no, not No, it was all timberland, all timberland.
Tell me about those early years, or even your first weeks or so here. How did you feel about it all?
Well, I can't.
What's going on from it? Did anything happen, any incidents
Suppose
at all
it
in
will.
the first months or year?
Only the mosquitoes the first summer, which I was horrified at, because we never have any mosquitoes in Switzerland, but here they were pretty thick. That's one thing that I remembered, I didn't appreciate at all.
And how did you begin to get any livestock or anything like that?
Very as soon as there was enough pasture, yes.
What did you do?
And we sold the cream.
And what did you
and
get so you had enough pasture?
Well, we bought stock, you see, and milked the cows and separated the milk and sold the cream. Had to take it to the wharf, to the boat once a week. You see, when I first came, it was just about May, Juin, Juillet, 3.5 months before the First World War was declared. And it changed really everything. Dad used to work for the neighbor, an Englishman there, to help him clear this place. Well, as soon as the war was declared, he left, you see. It changed everything,
Do you remember then anything? Was life pretty quiet and uneventful?
Oh, pretty quiet, yes.
You were able to get supplies?
Pretty quiet. But with the boat, sent to Nelson, yes, and get them every week, yes.
And,
That's dead.
I don't think your husband knows we're here, possibly. Perhaps we better turn it off for a moment.
Came in 1914. It never was the same after the war was declared. It surely changed things. The First World War, I mean.
What happened?
Yes. Well, as I say, several of the settlers went, especially the two Englishmen who were here. Then, before I came, Ukrainians came, 2 families of Ukrainians. I think they came from Alberta, and they worked too to clear land, and they used to ship cream to us, we did.
Did you have to work pretty hard?
Well, we did work, yes, we did work. Especially Dad, because it was hard clearing land and do that. Then we didn't have any school here. So in 1919, we got together and said that we would build a school, and the children do the janitor work, and the men would do the wood for heating the school, so we could have a school. And that's when we had our first school here in 1919.
Was this country pretty well settled with families right through here?
Well, no, not very. There were 3 down. There was Prost, who was Englishman but a bachelor, and Sosbecks and Garrises. Then there was nobody on the other side of the creek and here. We were the only ones. Yeah, there was not very many people, but then the Ukrainians had several children. The 2 families had enough to open a school.
And then you had your children?
And yes, well, not for quite a while.
Everybody here was just farming, making a living.
The Ukrainian men, they had to work out, you see, because they didn't have any money at all to do anything with. And the women did the farm work, which I never had to do.
And was there much in the way of orchards and fruit?
Well, what the people put in just then. My husband planted all the trees. It was in the contract with the man who sold the land that you had to put 10 acres, I think, in orchard. way up in the hills, not knowing whether there would be any water to water them or to work them, just kind of a contract like that.
Who had to do this?
Well, it was the man, Lindsay, who sold the land. See, it was before I came, but anyway, Dad fulfilled it and planted trees all over here. And of course, later on he pulled them out when he wanted to cut the grass and the hay, and unless you can look after trees, it's no good to put them in the wilderness,
But that was funny that he had to do the planting.
Yes.
Because he was doing the buying.
Yes.
I can understand that the man who sold the land might have to put in the...
No, but you see, you know better, much later on,
It's a funny thing that he was required to do that.
Maybe it was because...
What was the price?
$50 an acre. Yeah.
An acre?
An acre of virgin land, yes.
Uncleared.
Uncleared, yeah.
It was,
yes.
And he was, that was quite a price.
Yes.
And you had to do all of it.
Yes.
And did your husband
Yes.
do all of it?
Yes, yes.
There are big trees here. Big tall
Oh, yes.
lumber.
Well, the lumberman, Mr. Hanna, cut all the marketable, good, but there was lots left, yes. And all the stumps, which is a job to dig up, by hand, too.
Was there any market for the fruit at all that you grew?
Not much. The first one who had it could give it to the neighbors, if they were short and they had children. But we sold a few boxes, but nothing. No, not enough to make a living anyway. Nothing at all. No, it was the cream and a few calves, and then some beef presently. Beef that you had to do the butchering yourself.
So it was down the years. Did you stay here? Have you been here all that time?
Yes, we have. Well, I went back home. I was going to... My mother said, maybe after 5 years she could come and visit. Well, as I say, the war changed many people's plans, and then our children... It was 5 years before my daughter was born. And so it was 12 years before I was able to go back. And I took the 2 girls and my husband kept the 2 boys.
And how would they get school? They got to school here.
Well, you see, we built the school. The men of the community built the school themselves, where the Friends are teaching. That was our first school.
Right down at the bottom.
Yeah, right down. They had to travel down the hill, yes.
Do you remember
Yes.
who the first settlers were? Did you hear ever who the first settlers were in this?
Before we came, you mean?
Yes.
Mr. Hanna, as I say, the lumberman, was here before my husband came. As I say, he was lumbering. Well, the place was opened when the Great Northern was competing with the CNR, with the CPR, making a line. The grade, what we call the grade, the road you come over from the bridge this way, was built by the Great Northern in competition with the CPR on the other side. And this place was going to open up with mines and everything, you see. So anyway, the CPR won first. He got up to Gerard first, and the Great Northern only went to where the dam is built, You have been on that road where there is such a sharp turn, do you remember, about 8 miles up? Well, they had started to build a trestle for the railroad to go on. That's why the road has such a sharp turn. And so they abandoned it.
And Argenta was to be the port going up.
Yes, just so. And all the grade that you see was built by the little Chinaman, with wheelbarrows and pick and shovel.
So you wouldn't remember that?
No, it was just for 1896. in that last 10 years of the century, yes.
What was Mr.
Yes.
Hanna's first name?
Leander. Imagine me remembering. Leander. He was an Ontario man.
And he was one of the first here. Was
Yeah.
there anybody down at Johnson's Landing in those days?
Yes, there was a man, but I think it was speculation too in Orchard. They had planted a big orchard. You see, we didn't have any phone then between the landing and here, and everybody was working pretty hard at their own, on their own land. So we didn't know too much about it. I didn't anyway. And no phone, so how can you, no road? You couldn't communicate too much that way. It's only when my son, he took all his high school here, one of my sons, by correspondence, at the desk there. Only I have my machine now. And then every weekend he used to go along, there was just a trail, to the landing, and he'd walk 7 miles to visit his friend at the landing for exercise as much as anything else.
Quite a lonely life.
Well, I guess so, but the two boys were only two years apart, so they were company for each other quite
a healthy life for kids.
Oh, yes,
Very nice.
yes. He was one of the, I think, about half a dozen who took all his high school at home.
Did
By
you go to
correspondence.
university after
5 years. He's engineer at Cassiar. No.
Is there anything further that you would say about this? Or anything there's nothing particularly that happened that would be worth recalling?
My son went overseas too, and then he came back here and we sold him, or practically gave him, part of the farm, and he got married. And then when the province introduced the use of margarine, well, it cut all the cream producers right out, you see. You couldn't sell the cream. So he went to Vancouver for an industrial art course and has been teaching then ever since. And he sold the place to some Americans.
That was that place over there.
Yes. We used to have an old-timer down on the grade, old Red McCloud, of whom you may have heard. That was a real old-timer. Oh, yes, I remember him.
Tell me about him.
Yes.
What was he like? What did he do?
It won't do to put it on.
Oh, we've heard quite a lot about him, so you can tell us. It's quite safe. We wouldn't use anything. But he was quite a character, wasn't he?
Absolutely, yes.
How do you remember him, and what do you see?
Well, to tell the truth, he lived down on the shack and we lived here. And I never was one to encourage anybody whom I didn't like anyway, so he didn't come around here too often, except to borrow some money once to go to Caslow. Oh, but he was quite a character.
What did he look like?
Oh, he was quite a big man and very red. Well, his name was Red McCloud. I don't know what his name was, but anyway, red moustache and reddish hair and red complexion too. But he had lots of stories to tell. He used to tell us once, he used to pack on his back to go through the Earl Grey Pass, of which you may have heard. And the mosquitoes were so bad that he said he put down his pack and cried. They were so terribly bad, Oh, he was quite a character.
Why didn't you like him?
I don't know. I didn't like him.
A lot of people did like him, in spite of his behavior.
Well, maybe, but I didn't care for him.
Was he dishonest?
Oh, I think he was very light-fingered, yes.
Did you remember anything about him here?
well,
Any incidents that happened with him?
No, except everywhere he would live in shacks, you know, and every time, at least 3 times that I know of, they burnt, whether it was carelessness or whether, I don't know why. But,
They were always hauling him off to jail, too.
oh yes, yes. Well, you see, I don't consort with such people. Mm. Well, he was past his prime of mischief doing anyway by this time. He was close to 70, you see. So, okay.
Anything
So-
you'd like to suggest, Ian? Yes, in Switzerland. Because superficially, some people may
Yes.
say, but of course I agree with you, it's nothing like it. But
Oh.
what are the differences in it?
Well, of course, it's so much more thickly populated where I came from, you know. It was a 5-room school where I've been all the time. And, I mean, it has been civilized from the 1300, you know. It's here it is really very raw and...
And you didn't live in the mountains, you lived by the lake.
dans le Jura.
Were you in the Jura? Yes.
Aye.
You did, yes.
Aye.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, my husband lived près du lac de Neuchâtel, you see, where the vineyards go. It was milk produce, you know, cheese and milk, where I came from.
How would you say
So,
that Jura compare? I mean, are different from these mountains?
The mountains are not as high and they are more rounded. I mean, worn out, maybe more from, you know. We didn't have any high peaks where I came from. More, well, not high peaks like we see here, you know, Mount Cooper and Willett and such. No.
So that you remember, but it was all mostly cleared.
Oh yes.
How did it look like?
Yes.
Compared with this?
Oh yes, it was. Well, we had forest which was untouchable because long ago in Switzerland they have been using intelligence and method. You know, you couldn't cut any tree without permission. So there was forest, of course, but big pastures, common pastures, you know, and fields.
And little
Yeah,
villages.
and villages, yes.
And people everywhere.
And oh yes, you couldn't go, maybe half an hour's walk between the villages, you know.
How does the climate differ?
Well, naturally, where the vineyards are, they never had any snow to speak of, or maybe like this. But where I came from, there was 3-4 feet of snow at times, just very much like here.
Was this colder here?
I don't think it ever went below 0, not that I remember, at home,
But
which
here
it does here, 13 at times.
it's a bit colder.
I think so, yes.
And the winter longer?
Well, I guess it's about the same as where I came from, yes. Yes.
More rain?
I think so, more than here. Not more than we have had the past 2 years, but as a whole, more rain, yes.
More rain here.
No, at home. Here it's dry, really dry. Here, if we didn't have any irrigation, you couldn't grow anything. At least, except the past 2 years, we could have, but otherwise not. Oh, that's another thing my husband did. Over a mile of ditch from the creek to bring the water on the fields. We have water for the house, but not big enough for the fields. But he did that ditch all by hand. I helped him survey that. That's one thing I did, yes. Just survey, you know, we had to keep the slant.
Did you have any people to meet and talk to here in those 10 years?
No, not at first, no.
Because and did you have any French-speaking people here at all?
For a while, yes, but not very long. And so my husband preferred speaking English, you see, and we always, well, we used to have Swiss papers too, but mostly English paper. So he taught me, I remember it was a Scotch girl on the boat, and she'd stamp on the deck and show me that it was deck, you know. I knew about 5-6 words by the time I got across. So my husband tried to teach me some when we first came, and we had a Montreal paper, you see. So at first he'd just read it and translate it for me. So after 2 months he said, well, there you are, go right ahead and read it. So I had to, if I wanted to read the newspapers. Yes, that's one thing, you see. I couldn't learn anything because, I mean, except at home with my husband, because the farmers' wives were Ukrainians, and they never went out. The husbands worked out, but they stayed home and raised kids and did the farm work, so they didn't speak any English.
The English had all left this country.
Yes, the Roberts and Prust had left. That was the only English-speaking people. Of course, Mr. Hanna did, but as I say, the lumber business, I didn't see much of him anyway.
And it was English women that you really, English-speaking.
That's it. There wasn't many. There wasn't many then. Oh, I guess I mostly got it from my husband, who learned it in London. So it seems I had acquired quite an English accent. So even with my accent, they thought I came from England. Because it was calf and half, you know, things like that, until I spoke with Canadian people who speak differently, you see. No, but with R2 first, I still spoke enough French that I spoke French to them. And then they felt quite embarrassed because they couldn't speak very good English, you see, when they went to school. So very soon, the 2 first ones could speak it and understand it, and the 2 others not, because the oldest one spoke English to them all the time.
That's too bad.
Yes, isn't it?